Have you ever noticed how the more aware you become, the harder it feels to stay disciplined? It almost seems backwards. You'd think that awakening, with its clarity and higher perspective, would make discipline easy. But in reality, for many awakened people, discipline becomes even more difficult. Why is that? Today we're going to break this down, not just from a surface level perspective, but from a spiritual, neurological, and quantum level. And if you stay with me through this, you'll see that what you've been calling a discipline problem may actually be a sign of profound inner transformation. Part 1. The Awakening Paradox. When you awaken, you gain a heightened awareness of yourself, not just your thoughts, but also your habits, your patterns, your inner conditioning. It's like suddenly seeing the strings of a puppet show that were once invisible. On one hand, this is liberating because you realize you don't have to live on autopilot anymore. But on the other hand, it creates a paradox. The more you notice these subconscious patterns, the harder it feels to break free from them. Why is that? Because awareness shines a spotlight on just how deeply ingrained your conditioning really is. Neurologically speaking, most of your daily behavior is governed by neural pathways carved into your brain since childhood. These are like well-worn trails in a forest, automatic, easy to walk, and effortless. When you awaken, you begin trying to walk a new path, one that hasn't been formed yet. This takes energy, intention, and repetition. And at first, it can feel uncomfortable, even unnatural, because your body is so used to taking the old trail. Spiritually, this creates what many describes as a cognitive dissonance. Your awakened mind knows what it wants to do, which is meditate, stay present, take care of yourself, and overall live consciously. But your body and the subconscious programming within it pulls you back into old behaviors. It's like being caught at a crossroads where one direction is familiar and easy and the other is uncomfortable but aligned with your higher self. Quantum theory offers another lens. Your old self and your new self exist as potential realities, and your awareness collapses which one you embody in each moment. But because your energy field is still more conditioned to the old reality, it feels as though you're constantly being pulled backwards until repetition and presence begin to stabilize the new reality. This is why awakened people often feel discipline is harder, not because they lack strength, but because they're carrying the weight of transformation itself. Part 2. The Subconscious Resistance. When you awaken, you start to see reality more clearly, but with that clarity comes the undeniable truth. Your subconscious mind has been running the show for most of your life. Think of your subconscious as a supercomputer that stores every belief, habit, and emotional pattern you've ever absorbed. Many of them formed in childhood, when your brain was most impressionable. These patterns were created for survival, not alignment. So while your conscious mind may now crave growth, expansion, and presence, your subconscious is still hardwired to keep you safe by repeating the old. Here's where discipline becomes such a challenge. Your awakened awareness begins installing new programs, meditation, mindfulness, healthier habits, and aligned choices. But these new behaviors don't yet have deep neural grooves in your brain. The subconscious then sees them as foreign, even threatening, because they disrupt the comfort of familiarity. Neurologically, this is called neuroplasticity in action. Every time you choose a new behavior, you are literally rewiring the brain, carving out a new neural pathway. But because the old pathways are so much stronger, your body often defaults back to them. This is why you can consciously know what you should do, yet still find yourself slipping into the exact opposite behavior. Spiritually, this resistance shows up as the ego. The ego thrives on repetition, identity, and attachment to the old story of who you are. So when you attempt to discipline yourself into new patterns, the ego reacts as though its very survival is under attack. It whispers things like, "You've tried this before and failed. This isn't who you are. Why not just go back to what feels easy?" This creates the inner war that awakened people feel so intensely. The conscious self reaching for transformation while the subconscious self clings to comfort. From a quantum perspective, this battle represents two overlapping realities: the version of you that has already integrated discipline, and the version still living in old cycles. In every moment, your choices determine which reality you embody. But until the energy of your old reality dissolves, you will feel that gravitational pull towards what's familiar. And this is why discipline feels so much heavier for awakened people, because they're no longer sleepwalking through life. They are acutely aware of the inner war being fought between the old programming and the new subconscious. So here's the big question. How do awakened people actually bridge the gap between old subconscious programming and the new conscious patterns they want to embody? The answer lies in creating harmony between the mind, body, and consciousness. You're not trying to fight the subconscious into submission, you're retraining it, gently but consistently, until the new becomes natural. Let's break this down step by step. Number 1, start with micro commitments. From a neurological perspective, your brain doesn't instantly accept drastic change. If you try to overhaul your entire life overnight, the subconscious panics and drags you back to old habits. Instead, start small. Anchor discipline through micro commitments. For example, instead of saying, "I'll meditate an hour every day," commit to 2 mindful minutes. This creates a winnable loop where the subconscious begins to associate the new behavior with safety and success. Number 2, pair awareness with embodiment. Awareness alone isn't enough. It has to be paired with action. Think of it this way. Every time you consciously notice the old habit trying to pull you back, you have a window of choice. That's the moment to anchor discipline into the body. Breathe, ground yourself, then act in alignment with your higher self. Over time, this consistent pairing rewires the neural pathways, turning discipline into embodiment. Number 3, reframe discipline as devotion. One of the biggest reasons awakened people struggle with Number 3, reframe discipline as devotion. One of the biggest reasons awakened people struggle with discipline is because the word itself feels very heavy. It feels daunting, almost punitive, like you're forcing yourself into compliance. Oftentimes because of how we were raised to believe discipline was, that it was a punishment. But if you reframe it as devotion, devotion to your highest self, your purpose, your awakening, then the energy shifts. Suddenly, it's not about fighting the old, it's about honoring the new. This creates emotional alignment, which accelerates neurological rewiring. Number 4, harness the power of stillness. Spiritually speaking, stillness is your greatest ally. When you pause, even briefly, between the old impulse and the new choice, you open a space of presence. Number 4, harness the power of stillness. Spiritually speaking, stillness is your greatest ally. When you pause, even briefly, between the old impulse and the new choice, you open a space of presence. In that space, the subconscious loses its grip and the higher self can guide the action. This is why practices like meditation, breath work, or even a simple conscious pause throughout the day are so transformative. They train you to live in that gap where freedom is born, where presence exists. Number 5, anchor into identity, not just action. From a quantum perspective, every disciplined act is a vote for a new identity. Instead of saying, "I'm trying to be more disciplined," shift your language to, "I am the kind of person who honors my highest choices." Your words and self-concept collapse probability into reality. The more you affirm and embody the disciplined identity, the faster the old self dissolves. When you put this all together, discipline stops feeling like a punishment and starts becoming a natural expression of who you are becoming. It transforms from a battle into a flow, a seamless integration of awareness, intention, and aligned action. Part 4. The awakening hidden in discipline. At this point, you can see that discipline isn't really about forcing yourself into rigid routines. For awakened people, it's something far deeper. It's about aligning your daily actions with the frequency of who you truly are. Think about it this way. Every act of discipline is not just about productivity or self-control. It's an act of integration. It's your higher awareness reaching down into the physical, reshaping the subconscious, and carving out a new reality where your spiritual insights actually become lived experiences. And this is what makes discipline so uniquely powerful on the path of awakening. Because without it, awareness remains abstract, a concept that never fully crystallizes into your day-to-day reality. But with discipline, every choice, every small act of devotion becomes an opportunity to collapse the gap between the self you once were and the self you are becoming. Think of discipline as the manifestation of true awareness. Over time, the battle softens, the resistance fades. What once felt like discipline begins to feel like flow. Your actions and your awareness align so seamlessly that you no longer think of it as effort. It's simply your natural way of being. This is the hidden gift of discipline for the awakened people. It's not about controlling yourself, it's about embodying freedom. And maybe that's the greatest paradox of it all. The thing you once resisted, discipline, turns out to be the very doorway into deeper liberation. So remember this, every time you show up for yourself, no matter how small the step, you're not just building a habit, you're building a new reality. And if this message resonates with you, if you're ready to continue deepening your awareness and anchoring your highest self into the physical world, then I invite you to follow along, subscribe, and share this journey with others. Together, we're not just learning discipline, we're awakening a new way of being.